Which, when part-timers, maybe not, but celebrities have been involved since, like,
The dawn of
That's
forever.
WrestleMania.
so that's
Yeah.
basically yeah. So basically, the guy was like bitching about that, and that's what Conrad said. He's like, "Well, look back to WrestleMania one. Like WrestleMania one was all celebrities, basically. So, like he said, he's been doing it like forever and ever. So, like, what do you expect? Like basically, like, what are you bitching about?
Yeah.
Like, it's the first time he's ever done it.
And that's very true because it's literally the crux of WrestleMania. Now there was a few years there kind of in between where they kind of got away from it, but I mean for the most part, I mean even like back to what WrestleMania.
Well, if you look at the WrestleMania, okay, so WrestleMania 1 and 2, like starting out big time celebrity like affiliated. WrestleMania 3, were there some? Yeah, but like it was toned down because the Hogan Andre match was such a big build. So I think that's where maybe this person was thinking like, if you're building this match to supposedly be bigger than Hogan and Andre and Austin and The Rock, why do you have so much celebrity involvement?
Yeah. But at the same time, though, now WrestleMania is 2 nights, so it's not like these celebrities are taking somebody else's spot. They're,
Right.
you know, what I mean, there's enough time and enough
Well,
to be able to do both.
Let's be real though. While it's 2 nights, it used to be a fucking 12-hour extravaganza, like that you had to sit through. So it's really like the same amount of matches, just split up so that way you aren't miserable by the end of it.
That's true. But even then,
But
they still, everybody kind of has their spot. But go ahead, what were you saying, Kev?
But I agree 100% with Michael with the whole like being interested in the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match because Knoxville could like obviously.
Oh yeah, Knoxville's good. Yeah, Knoxville's gonna let him beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So like there's gonna be some stupid spots that you don't need in the match that are just gonna be fun. But for me, I don't know why, but like I watched the clip and you just hear the down, 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 and I'm like, all right, I'm in. He comes out, he's waving to everybody. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
That music is such a good wrestling intro.
It really is. I was thinking about I watched that on my break at work, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn, that really is a good wrestling thing.
I mean, it's like the glass shatter. It like immediately gets your attention, and business is about to pick up. You're just like, oh yeah, okay, Johnny Knoxville's coming out. Like that music is just synonymous with just mayhem. So like as soon as you hear it, you're just like, oh, okay. You muted yourself again.
The fact that Michael Cole is just like, there's a jackass in Missouri or wherever the fuck they were. I'm just like, oh my god.
That's it. It's boss time for Johnny Knoxville. There's a jackass in whatever city they're in.
There's a jackass in Dallas.
Speaking of which, we have 3 jackasses on this podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jason. I'm joined this week by Michael and Kevin. Of course, you got us almost each and every week, coming to you not so much live and worldwide, but on a recorded podcast that we can disperse out worldwide. But
I just feel bad. Why did you count yourself as 3 people? That's just so rude. You should be nicer to yourself.
Huh? Oh, because I called us all jackasses.
You said there's 3 jackasses.
I mean, come on. We all have the tendency to be a jackass. You know that more than anybody.
You're a jackass.
I say Mike's more like the big time smart ass.
So we got a smart ass, a jackass, and just an ass.
Yeah.
It's a smart ass, a jackass, and a dick ass.
I was gonna say a slap dick.
A slap dick. There you go.
A slap ass.
All right. Anyway, so you can also join in on our conversation by either following us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. Make sure you share us with your friends so we can get a lot more listeners. And you can tweet at us, which is our Twitter handle at @LiveYourGimmick. That is the @ symbol followed by LIVYOURGIMMICK.
Still waiting for B.
Still waiting for B.
Because you said you can either A, do this, or you could just tweet at us.
All right. Well, thanks for keeping me honest. I appreciate it. All right. So we got a good amount of stuff to get to today. I think the majority of the show is going to be covering AEW Revolution because this is the last time we're going to record before the pay-per-view. So we either record Sunday after it's over or the Monday the next day, so it just kind of depends. So I figure we'll spend some time talking about that. I have a few WWE things to talk about before we get there, but I know Kevin said I missed this tweet. I don't know if you saw it or not, Michael, but apparently Mayor Kane had something to say about the Russia-Ukraine war. What do you have to say, Kev?
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike, have you heard this at all or no?
No, but
Okay, so,
I'm just,
all right, so and I'm going to read this. So I'm off camera right now. So it's kind of and I quote from Mayor Kane.
And I
So basically,
quote,
basically he went on. Let's see, went on Twitter and made some, wonderful comments. Of course, he already made, we know how controversial he has been, especially when it comes to masks and.
yeah, the man who wore a mask for fucking 3 decades is like, unmask yourself, and it's like,
yeah. He said, yeah. So he said, and I quote, "It's just part of it. If you on the left and are shocked by Putin's aggression, wake up, sunshine. Historically, in the real world, might makes right. Weakness, which is really what the left is all about, is not a virtue. It's a fatal character flaw. And no, the U.S. should still not get involved." He also said, "I highly doubt Putin cares a whit about toxic masculinity," and so on and so on. So, some really, I don't know, not right things to say, especially with everything that's going on over there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but the reason I really wanted to bring this up was Adam Page, Cowboy Adam Page, AEW World Champion, had a great response to it, and basically all he did was tweet how to help Ukrainian people and relief funds, and then he also posted on the feed of the comments a YouTube video of the top 10 chair shots that Kane has taken to the head.
Oh, wow.
That's some cowboy shit right there.
That's some cowboy shit. Wow.
So let alone everything beforehand was already a big fuck you, but then the videos of, hey, watch the highlights of the top 10.
Watch what caused this tweet.
Yeah,
Wow.
basically. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I just thought, he's not, Mr. Mayor there is not doing himself any favors. So,
no, not so much. Yeah, I mean, his Republican is really starting to show. I mean, at first he didn't really seem to be too hardcore one way or the other, but it seems as of late he's very much taken a very strong stance.
Yeah, he didn't seem like the kind of politician who's just like, I need to shit on the other side to look cool. Like, he seemed like he is just like, I'm here because of XYZ. Vote for me. I'm Kane.
Right.
yeah.
Lighting a way to the future, as he said.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
I mean, so we don't really spend any more time on that. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys. I had just mentioned to Jason off air if he had heard it. He said no. He's like, let's save it for the show.
Yeah.
So that's how you.
Well, glad we did that. All right, so we'll
my.
move on from somebody that used to be in WWE, who probably will never be back if he continues to make comments like that, to people who are actually in WWE.
You have to remember the McMahons are friends with a certain somebody, so I imagine that won't make a difference.
They seem to have distanced themselves away from him a lot, though, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, so moving forward. So WWE, as Kevin mentioned, had some pretty decent shows this past week, especially Raw. I thought SmackDown was good as well, but Raw Raw particularly has been pretty good. But I think one of the biggest things to stand out, and Kevin kind of mentioned it a little bit on last week's show because he had watched it a little bit, but I kind of got the full effect of it, and that was Edge's promo, where he sat in the ring, talked about being able to smell WrestleMania season and getting all excited and kind of hyping up the crowd and a little bit. And
oh no, you misunderstood. He said he could smell the WrestleMania seasoning that he was going to use on his dinner later. It's a new brand they're selling on WWEshop.com.
Take the edge off.
Hey!
But
Shit.
We're the black. Hey, by the way, we're the black shirt boys tonight. So
yeah, except
Yeah.
I'm wearing green, so
He's talking about us,
No,
not you.
no.
Yeah,
We don't include you in our shenanigans.
The black shirt boys.
Yeah.
I think when Kevin was off camera, he went and put a black shirt on just so he could say that.
Probably that's why he was off camera. He was just like,
Yeah.
gotta change.
I just put a shirt on.
He was just going full commando from top to bottom. And
Yeah, I'm Winnie the
now
Pooh.
it's just Donald
right
Ducketing.
now. Yeah,
Jesus. All right,
It's called Winnie the Poohing.
Winnie the Poohing. All right.
That's only called that when you're actually pooing, though.
So we were talking about Edge's promo in the middle of the ring. Had a chair, sat down, cut a promo. Basically, he
Put some A1 on the steak.
With some WrestleMania seasoning.
Butter and sour cream. Salt and
Baked
pepper.
potato.
Side of
Phenomenal corn on the cob.
Yeah. Side of steam-rolled broccoli.
I'm just waiting on
I
you
think
guys.
we're done.
Are we done?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Are we good? We got it all out? You sure? We all
For
set?
now.
All right, cool. All right, so moving forward then. So Edge's promo, he sat in the middle of the ring. He did mention something about he did throw Phenomenal in there to Kevin's point, but he also threw a few other names out there too, and kind of pointed out some people that didn't have dance partners, and then invited anybody to step up. So I am kind of curious to see tomorrow night if anybody does answer that challenge. I think the one thing I really like about the fact that WrestleMania has like a 6-week build basically between Elimination Chamber and Mania is all the time they have now to really create some compelling and interesting stories going into the event. So it's to the point where you kind of care about every match, right? Like you're going to be more invested in the show with such a long build, assuming they do it right and actually get you excited about it. But, to Michael's point, he's already excited about Johnny Knoxville taking on Sami Zayn.
Music. It really is. I've been humming it this entire time. I just was there. Dun, 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 dun.
And as much as people hate Logan Paul, I mean, how perfect was that whole thing, though? And the idea is you're supposed to hate Logan Paul. He's a heel. Miz is a heel. It was such a heel move.
I'm not hating him because he's in the ring with someone else. I'm hating him because he's a piece of shit, and they shouldn't associate with him.
He is a piece of shit, but it's like, but you want to see that piece of shit get his ass handed to him.
But is he going to, though?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like the Mysterios are going to win that match. I mean, come on. I mean, Miz hasn't won really anything as of late, but he doesn't have to because Miz can get heat for anything.
Are they going to have two celebrities lose on the same card?
No, Johnny Knoxville's going over, buddy.
You think Johnny Knoxville's going to be Intercontinental champion?
I mean the way they.
Hey, Zack Ryder won it, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god!
WrestleMania too.
Exactly.
Did you see?
Johnny Knoxville will have something in common finally.
Did you see he won his 6th title belt over the weekend? Like he's just going to places and just.
Would he go into someone's toy garage and like beat them up and take their old like '90s replica belts?
No, he went to some promotion and won the.
It's a New York promotion. Yeah.
New York Metropolitan Championship. Some fucking
stupid fucking shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, the belt
Oh
collector
my God.
claimed
That's
another
like
one.
being like the fucking like Knox County champion.
Yeah.
No, this is what's going to happen. Johnny Knoxville is going to win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, and he's going to hold it for at least a week, so he can say that he had a longer reign at WrestleMania than guys like longer reign with the title than guys like Matt Cardona or like Zack Ryder. So like Zack had the list of all the people that weren't NWA champion. They can create a list of all the people that held the championship for less time than Johnny Knoxville.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am 100% down for that, but they ain't gonna do that.
No, they're definitely
We're gonna do that.
That's
but
just
they
my
aren't gonna do that.
that's just my idea.
I 100%. If he wins it and keeps it for a week, I will make that graphic, and I'll have Kevin go through and tell me every fucking Intercontinental champion that that had less than a week, and we'll fucking call out Cardona again.
I love it. Let's keep this war alive, even though it's only being
This
waged
one-sided war.
This one-sided war. Oh man, there's like a joke there, but I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, so moving forward.
Do you get the joke? Because I don't get the joke.
Yeah, I was going to make a very wrong joke involving the current conflict going over in Russia and Ukraine. But
Oh,
yeah.
that's
No.
fucked up. Listen, Kane,
now I'm
fuck off.
now I'm
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought better of it. I was like, no, I shouldn't do that because that's
See,
just
I
mean.
was expecting it to be a joke about Cardona, so I thought you were going to say like he jerks off like by himself with one hand or something. I don't know.
No,
Like,
it kind of stemmed from somebody posted something on like a tweet, and actually kind of it really did hit home, and it said that if Russia stops fighting, that's the end of the war, but if Ukraine stops fighting, that's the end of Ukraine. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not as though this war is being waged because it's necessary, you know what I mean? Like it's just literally Russia being greedy and wanting more land and wanting basically to border water, and that's just fucked up, you know. So that's kind of where it stemmed from, and then I thought better of it, so my bad. Anyway, moving forward, the other thing with WWE that kind of stood out this past week was on SmackDown. You know, of course, we got the announcement that it is going to be a title unification match. So we were correct, or this guy right here. You know, I saw it coming.
Excuse you.
Hold on.
I
That was my prediction.
too.
Yeah, we all did.
Oh,
kinda.
yeah.
I'm taking credit
Yeah.
though, but yeah,
know you fucking greedy prick.
we all did say that's probably what's going to happen. But I'm glad they are going with that.
Yeah.
And Kevin, and a lot of other people are wanting the big gold belt back. I've seen that all over.
Oh yeah, I
my,
keep
my
seeing
social
Jason
media
respond to
feeds
that
and
shit
stuff
on
like
Twitter.
that. I did one time.
And honestly, post a picture of the big gold belt with the WWE logo on it.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah. If it's not that one, I've seen also a lot of people want the remember the Undisputed Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of people were talking about they like
Maybe if
have
they
that
upgrade
one.
it, but it was ugly as fuck.
It just had a lot going on, but like I mean the big gold belt would be perfect. I mean you can still have the WWE logo on it, and you know what I mean? Maybe two-tone it. Like
I
you know
just
what
don't.
I mean? Like,
I just don't see it happening because it wasn't a WWE belt to begin with.
yeah,
WCW belt.
it's WCW belt.
Exactly, and I really don't think that if they're gonna unify the titles and make it the top prize and no other championship will be its equal. I doubt that they would put it with a championship that originated in WCW and NWA.
No,
I
they'll probably just keep the black one that Brock has because
The blue one.
Well, that says you. I'm just saying the one that Brock has says World Heavyweight Champion on it.
Universe is bigger than world. That's just science.
But the World Heavyweight Championship is the one that has the most lineage to it, so it's gonna.
But they
stay
count them
there.
as they both count them as both.
But it's still the one that's been around since day one. The Universal Championship hasn't been around since day one, so they're not.
I mean, jokes on all of us. They're literally just gonna fucking put some tape on it, and it's gonna say "World Universal Champion," and
Well,
be done with it.
that's what somebody said. What's the title going to be called? Is it going to be called the WWE World? Yeah, they said World Universal Heavyweight Championship.
The Universal World. I don't know what would
Yeah.
what would be the.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Bring back the Winged Eagle.
Yeah, I'd
You're
be
not gonna
fine
bring
with
back
that.
anything. It's literally just gonna be one of the two belts.
It's going to be the.
It is.
It'll
like
be-
everyone needs to fucking
is.
curb their fucking expectations here, because
Or it's going to be a completely new design that we're all going to shit on and hate anyway. But I think it's just going to be.
I mean, I still hate the Intercontinental title. I don't care. It's ugly.
Yeah.
Now, if Brock wins and we get Brock Party that comes back and he brings back the spinner belt, would you be on board then?
No.
Yes. Fucking count me in. Boombox.
I
Spinner
would,
belt.
I would enjoy the moment, but I would still hate the fucking title. I even hated it when Edge won it and put his own logo in it and made it the Edge spinner belt. I thought it was funny, but I still didn't like it.
The funny thing is, like, once after I think like once Randy Orton won it the first time, like it stopped spinning. Like I don't know a lot.
They fixed it so it wouldn't spin.
Yeah.
Mostly because like
It still looked ugly
for whatever
as fuck,
reason,
though.
whenever you moved it around, it would
It just-
constantly
yeah, it would
twist,
go like-
so the
yeah.
logo would never be in the correct direction. So I imagine it was just branding. They just wanted it to.
Yeah. I think
So that way, when the ref holds it up, it's not sideways. And it's like E.
Yeah, I think by then John was kind of getting away from the whole thugonomics thing too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm still in shock that they kept it like after that.
I just want
that
if they're
long.
gonna do celebrity fucking death match at Mania, I just want John Cena to come back as Peacemaker and have a match.
That'd be great.
Like, he comes out like he doesn't come out to his music. He comes out to the fucking. Do you really wanna taste it?
He's got to dance all the way down the aisle too.
He's just gotta do that.
So face dance. Kevin, have you watched that show yet?
I have not.
You gotta watch it.
mean to,
It's
yeah.
so fucking.
The
good.
opening title will pop you so hard, and you
Oh my
will
God.
never look back. Like
Yeah.
just the
And
title.
if you
sequence.
fucking ever skip it, I will never talk to you again.
I
Like,
will
it's-
say though, I will say Jason did try to tell me to watch the Big Show, and I watched one episode with the kids, and Ava looked at me and was like, basically like, "What the hell was Jason thinking? Like this was a good show."
That's okay.
it wasn't.
because
It
I
wasn't
went
a
and saw
great show. It was okay, but it was just I don't know.
That's okay because I went and saw Uncharted, and I told Jason that you have terrible taste, and your family does too, because that movie was great.
They just, I don't know. Their opinion of it was just that like the acting and stuff was horrible, and I don't know, just didn't like it. I don't know. I just wanted to go. I know nothing about it, so I could get two fucks either way. So-
I could see it now. They sit down to watch Peacemaker, and there's like, wow, this show's fucking stupid.
Probably. Oh man, Peacemaker is amazing though. Shout out to John
it's
Cena.
fucking- yeah.
I mean,
Best
that is,
HBO Max show.
that's
hands
like
down.
John Cena is like the Peacemaker character and John Cena go together like Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. It's just like
They
a
really
perfect
do.
fit.
It was- yeah,
it really
it's a
is.
match made in heaven.
It's ridiculous how perfect he is for that role. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you know there's a lot of good matches that are going to be coming up on WrestleMania, and we're going to talk a lot more about those kind of in long form. But like I said, you know, this show's going to be primarily AEW Revolution, talking about kind of the build up to that and the match card, and we'll do a little prediction thing too to see, you know, what we get right, what we get wrong, and kind of go from there. So before we get started on that, is there anything else we need to bring up or talk about? I feel like there's something out there that I'm missing, but
I don't
Well,
know.
I
I just
mean,
know that
I
no
guess-
matter how many of these predictions we do, I'm going to be the longest reigning, defending, fucking gimmick minute
you still
champion
haven't nailed
ever.
that out to him.
Nope.
no,
Do you need some stamps? Like, what do you need?
no. I just need to remember to do it.
So I'm going on at least 3 months now, right?
Oh my god.
At least.
He can't defend the title till he has it. So we need you to send that out, Kev.
Yep. It's going to be SummerSlam, and I'm still going to be champion.
Do you want me to Venmo you $5? Can we get it to him by WrestleMania? Do you think we can do that? So we can at least do something for WrestleMania for the title.
I think I'm maybe in protest because I had to defend the fucking thing so
Oh,
quick.
God.
You know,
So he's going to help me have a historic reign because he had to defend it and he lost it.
You could win it back if you would just give it to him. Oh, the one thing I will say though, before we move on, I forgot I was going to mention some stuff about NXT. How about NXT's going back on the road finally? They're going to be a part of WrestleMania weekend. I guess the day.
Oh, yeah, they're doing the takeover or whatever, right?
Yeah, but it's the day of night one. So I guess it's like during the day before night one of Mania is what I understand.
So what's going to happen here soon is we split WrestleMania into 2 nights so we wouldn't have fucking 10 hours of wrestling on Sunday, but now it's going to be 10 hours each day.
Well, and it's kind of weird too because Friday is also SmackDown and the Hall of Fame, so they're doing both in one show basically. So
It's almost like they're like, we need to do as much as possible every day so that way people pay attention to us instead of all the people who try to fucking come in to town and fucking ride our coattails. Because
yeah.
think about like all the different like conventions and shit and signings that show up WrestleMania weekend. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah, all the different indie promotions that show up and do shit. It is definitely bad. Kevin got all quiet. I think we made him mad. Are you okay there, buddy?
yeah, I think
No,
between
yeah.
my title reign and me saying that he has terrible taste in movies, I think he's like a little butthurt, a little salty.
it's a fucking terrible movie.
It's a great movie. You're a fucking mark.
Charted more like piece of shit movie.
Unwatched.
Perfect opportunity to say Uncharted, you fucking smart piece of shit.
Or unwatchable, or I mean, there's a lot of unwords.
You're like, there's so many options. You're like, shitty movie.
I don't know. I'm still waiting to see it, but again, I'm a huge fan.
Or
of
like you guys, unlistenable. So,
If you want to, I mean, you really want to go there. How many titles of the show have been based on jokes I've made? Just saying.
Oh wow.
yeah.
Just saying.
I feel like we're all about to break up right here on this podcast. All right, so let's move on.
Nah, this isn't Fanboy Fight Club. We're good.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna keep going with the show. We're not gonna just abandon it because somebody gets mad about something.
You're not gonna write a diss track and make me quit.
If that's the case, we would have been abandoned a long time ago.
Oh yeah. I've been trying to fucking pawn my spot off on other people for fucking years. So like,
Yeah.
we're still going. We're still going.
So what do you guys? One other. Okay, another thing, kind of WWE. So Tommaso Ciampa made his basically Raw debut, teaming with Finn Balor. Anybody notice anything different about Tommaso when he
That he
appeared
dyed
on
his
Raw?
beard.
His beard, yeah.
I want to make it.
He was on main event not too long ago. He died.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they have all of them go on like main event to like test run them and shit before they
Yeah.
put them on the main roster. But yeah, I'm just like dye beard.
Yeah.
But I didn't want. At the same time, I feel real bad saying that after the fucking finale because it
Right.
broke my heart.
It does. Yeah.
Fucking shattered my art into pieces. You'll understand if you ever watch a good show.
Yeah. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then he had that match with Dolph on NXT, which, of course, Robert Roode creatively got involved in. And now it's going to be Dolph Ziggler versus Braun Breaker on the NXT TakeOver show. So, what do you think about that? Do you think they're having Dolph work with Braun to like kind of show him the ropes, teach him a little bit like that? I mean, the measuring stick, Dolph Ziggler is definitely.
I just don't think they have. I mean, I don't know. They don't have much star power.
Well, that too. So, from my understanding, based on like what's rumor innuendo, is they want to consistently have someone from the main roster on NXT, so that to try to like help ratings, essentially.
Gotcha.
So, like, they're gonna put like a lot of the mid carders who are like the workhorse guys, the ones who can have incredible matches, but they don't put in the main event spot, come down and have these great matches to try to get viewership back up.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, having Dolph and Ciampa on NXT was fucking amazing. I mean, that match was fantastic. The other big thing that came out of NXT was Nikita Lyons made her debut. Did you guys check out the memes that came from that?
She's the one who did the split to pin the person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've
I've just seen that picture like 37 times. I'm just like, oh, is this in WWE? Is this in something else? Like, I don't get what's going on.
I saw one of those Seinfeld memes, and it was she's a full figure gal.
Yeah.
that one chick that Kramer was dating.
Yeah.
Somebody put her face on her.
There's a picture of Jim Ross turning away from his computer with that on the computer. That one was pretty funny too. But and it's to the point like so many people are. Oh my god! And the somebody had like posted a picture in one of the Facebook groups and said like it was like does this belong? Does this belong? And it says like something belongs here, or I belong here. Do I belong here instead, or something like that? And it was checkbox, like basically saying like, a guy wants his face there in place of the girl that's laying there or whatever. And then there's some people that kind of jumped on their shit on Twitter or on Facebook and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of inappropriate stuff going on about it too. And, but yeah, she definitely caught the attention of a lot of people though. Like everybody's like, okay, I'm paying attention to NXT now. All right, I'm watching NXT. So I guess she served her purpose. But I mean, the match,
use Dolph Ziggler, just have someone do a split on someone else's face.
Yeah, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. Very, very. She's thicker, but she's got that. She's got that kind of like the kickboxing background, and she's a fitness model. So she's kind of like a power lifter, kickboxer, like the whole 9 yards. And I mean, she definitely had a different look to her, and she moved around the ring pretty good. There's a couple of missed spots. I mean, she's a little green, but for the most part, it was a fun debut match, and she definitely fished off with a memorable moment. So,
We'll get back to real quick, like with Robert Roode being on NXT.
Yeah,
bring back the glorious Bobby Roode,
right?
Especially if they go back on the road.
Yeah,
like
if he has the next match against Braun Breaker, it's got to be the glorious Bobby Roode.
Yeah. Other than that, I just don't really. I don't know. I don't have the right time to watch. I barely have time to watch anything.
No, I hear you.
Sometimes
it can be tough. It really is.
Yeah, I struggle just enough to keep up with what little I do with AEW, and then the occasional like Johnny Knoxville coming out, interrupting Sami Zayn.
Johnny Knoxville has been brought up on this podcast more times than any wrestler. Yes. All right, so let's move on to AEW Revolution. That is going to be held on Sunday, which is different for AEW.
Are we not going to talk about some of the very important things that happened on Dynamite?
Well, we're going to talk about that as we're going through the card for Revolution.
Oh, okay.
We're going to bundle them together, so this isn't a 3-hour long podcast.
I mean, it's probably going to anyway. But
I mean, as long as because when we're going through the match, we can talk about the build-up, so we have some structure along with it. Does that make sense?
It seems like it should be an off-air conversation. Maybe we should have.
Sorry, the champion doesn't get these memos in his email, so he just shows up and
the champion.
Well, I mean, I do this.
The champion.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I literally do this for just about every other pay-per-view. So.
I really haven't noticed.
I just feel like we, like the show has like stopped. This is like a pre-show meeting. Maybe we should have those, perhaps.
We can't even all get on time, get here on time to start the show on time, let alone.
It's like literally the format anymore is like as soon as we pop on, it's like, okay, Mike and I don't have any idea, but we were recording for probably 10 minutes.
Well, okay, hold on.
We're sitting here fucking just like jerking around, and he's just like, and here we're giving it.
You hear my birds chirping in the background, and then my cat's meowing at me, and
I've coughed directly into the mic at least 7 times.
So here's the
I'm Winnie the Pooh.
I'm Winnie the Pooh.
Here's the thing. When we first started this show, I used to take time.
A side of speared pickles.
What?
A side of speared pickles.
Oh, to go with your baked potato and your phenomenal corn on the cob and the WrestleMania seasoned steak. You were saying?
I'm just gonna kick back. You guys got the rest of this.
All right, welcome.
God, this show is off the fucking.
One pod.
Okay, so when this show first started, I used to take all this time and fill out these show sheets, and I would share it with you guys, and neither one of you would even fucking look at it. So then I just kind of was like, well, they don't give a shit, so I'm just going to wing it and do my own thing. Now I have a little sheet that I go over, and I have stuff in front of me, so I can kind of keep the shit on track, at least somewhat. At least try to keep it on the rails. As much as you two just literally try to derail us at every turn, but, I try to keep it, but you didn't care.
You look how this show went from Mike and I teaming up against you to fighting against each other to right back to teaming up against you.
Yeah,
I have more face and heel turns than Big Show.
Yeah,
it's like you two were in the Royal Rumble and you decide to work together and then decide to throw each other over the top rope.
Each other was like, oh, never mind, let's go get him.
Then decide to work together again.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just gonna say it now. That entire segment needs to be clipped for Twitch or not Twitch, TikTok, whatever it is.
We're about 33 minutes, some change in there.
I don't know when you actually started, so it's 8:35 here. So
I don't how long are TikToks are only so long, but
it's the funny.
It could be like a minute.
The funny thing is, as soon as I said Spirit Pickles, it took Mike a second to realize what I was doing. Jason knew right away. Jason just went like this.
Yeah. So you need to just start the whole thing with you bitching about the show sheet, and then it goes Speared Pickles, and you just go.
Oh God.
For the audio listeners, because we don't have a video version of this podcast, what happened was Jason crossed his arms and just leaned back in shame because he was upset with us.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to post this whole, so we have a video version of this podcast. I'm just going to post this whole episode to YouTube, but I'll still clip a few things out for TikTok as well. So,
Okay.
anyway, all right.
Eventually, if you get enough things going, Anchor randomly started letting me told me I could do video for Spotify.
Oh,
And I'm like, I have no intentions of doing that because I want them to go to YouTube to watch the video, but thank you.
right. Yeah, cool.
Fuck Spotify.
No, fuck Spotify. Spotify's good to us. Somewhat, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, just keep saying Spotify so we end up more on Spotify.
Get a side of pickles with your Spotify.
Yeah.
So can we fucking talk about Revolution now? Can we get to that?
I'm waiting
Are we
for you
good?
to continue. Jesus, you've been talking about Spotify for 5 minutes.
Okay, so
I mean, come on, taking the edge off. But the funny thing is, when we were earlier in the show, I was trying to think of after like we were done, I was gonna come in with one more thing, and I couldn't. I was gonna say like speared potatoes, but I'm like, no, speared potatoes. That doesn't make sense. Don't say that. So you like how it took me 35 minutes to fucking figure it out. First of all, if you're gonna have a steak, a baked potato, and like some good steamed broccoli or something like that, why would you have fucking pickles with it too? Why did that come?
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Does not make sense. All right. Oh, Kevin, did I tell you? Speaking of like a good steak, did I tell you I picked up a smoker?
Oh,
Oh, you don't care because you're vegan, but I picked up a
Yeah.
smoker.
fuck, do I give a shit.
Shit. Man, shots fired.
I'll smoke you some broccoli or something.
Yeah. Because that's all I eat, right? That's all vegan eat. Fucking
He clearly wants
broccoli,
smoked
carrots.
pickles.
I'll
Broccoli,
smoke you. I'll
carrots.
smoke you some Beyond Burgers. How about that? We'll
I
do
just
Yeah,
want to
there
point
we
this
go.
out. That it took you 35 minutes to fucking figure out a side vegetable that goes on a spear, but you're fucking vegan, so like that's all you eat is the vegetables that come on spear.
I don't know. I was just trying to think of something speared. Not a lot of stuff is speared.
Well, there's Sean Spears, who might be a part of AEW Revolution, which is what we're going to talk about next. So, AEW
Oh, we're starting the
Revolution. Yeah, we're still we're still recording. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. This is still. I'm not cutting any of this out, so this is all going to be part of the show.
And then
Oh, God.
that just sounded like one of your lead-ins. You're like, talk about Spears, John Spears, and welcome to the show.
Yeah,
No.
we just now started.
I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but I started recording 37 minutes and 11 seconds ago. So this whole thing's been a part of the podcast.
I was waiting for you to say, "Oh shit!" I forgot.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but I did not hit record,
No.
and we've just been talking for 35 minutes. For no reason.
No, I didn't pull a Chris Jericho this week. We're recording on time, so we're good. All right. Now, AEW Revolution takes place on Sunday, March 6th. Start time is 8 p.m. sharp. There's a bunch of matches on this card, which actually seem like they're going to be really good, so let's talk about them. The first one on the card is the one that I really don't care about. It's Sammy Guevara with Sting and Darby Allin versus the AHFO, which consists of Matt Hardy, Andrade, and Isaiah Cassidy.
The fuck is that? AHF? What?
The Andrade Hardy Family Office.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, because it used to just be the Hardy Family Office, but then Hardy wanted some help, so he sold 45% of it to Andrade to get a bigger cash inflow. So now it's the Andrade Hardy Family Office, because Andrade apparently isn't going to be a part of House of Black. So they went with Hardy instead, and he wanted Darby
makes more sense.
and he wanted Darby Allin to be in the part of the family, but Darby Allin's rejected him, and Andrade keeps talking to Sting as if he's Darby Allin's handler.
Was it Darby, or were you thinking they wanted Sammy to be?
No,
part
they
of it?
wanted
Wasn't
Darby.
there a whole thing where they like tried to offer Sammy, and Sammy
Nope.
said "fuck you," and then they were gonna beat him up, and then Darby came out.
No, they wanted Darby, but they're trying to take the title from Sammy. So they wanted Darby. They wanted to recruit Darby. Darby didn't want to be in it. But then at the same time, they're also trying to take the TNT title away from Sammy. So that's why this whole thing kind of came together. And Sting's just like the ball dragging along to be a part of it. But basically, it's So that's how it all happened. It's they wanted Darby. Darby said "F you," and they tried to tell get Sting to like, oh hey, you're his manager, give him to us. And Sting's like, I don't have any control over that.
I'm just saying, I love Sting, but Sting anymore, just like if his just walking around had a sound, it would just be, you know what I mean? Like it just seems like when he moves from spot to spot into the ring, you just imagine him going.
Like, why am I? But maybe that's part of him being around depressed Darby all the time, though. So I don't know.
Yeah,
that's long-term booking right there. They're gonna eventually turn on each other because he's just like, I can't do it. You're too depressing, kid. I can beat your ass now.
But speaking of Darby, when that fucking spot he did when he came
dove
out
through the ropes, like reckless abandon.
God.
That was like when he took out one of the ass boys on the ramp a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
And just speared right into him.
I think of that.
They need to make their own song.
Huh?
Spot
They need to make their own song.
The ass boy
I'm
song.
an ass boy.
Oh, Danhausen made an ass boy song. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
No, if you go through Danhausen's Twitter, there is an ass boy song on there. It's not him that made it, but it's a band that he's friends with that made it. But he's a part of it, and they're dressed like Danhausen when they sing it, so it's actually kind of funny.
And I told Jason, look up Mike Danhausen giving Hook chips. Because Hook's always like eating chips, and Hook's like sitting there eating Lay's potato chips, and Danhausen comes up and says, "This is Hook, and he likes chips, and I have chips for you, and I will give you chips every day." And Hook just he just opens up the chips and starts eating them. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, good stuff.
Right.
All right, so I got to say it's going to be Sting, Darby, and Sammy that wins this match. I'm going to go
Probably.
SSD. So anybody else?
When's Jeff's non-compete end?
Pretty soon. He's already confirmed he's coming to AEW.
Well, he had to backpedal that because he got in trouble because he's not out of his non-compete yet.
Yeah,
gotcha. Well, he said it in a very did you see the interview where he said it?
Yeah. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm super excited to debut this and the other, and then like a week later he's like, oh yeah, you never know where I'm gonna end up. I mean, there's a lot of conversations to be had. Haven't had anything yet because I'm still in my non-compete, and it's like, oh
yeah.
But then he was like,
fuck
WWE. One moment he praised WWE, then 5 seconds later he's like, oh yeah, fuck WWE.
Yeah. Yeah. He's all.
Well, did you hear that? Apparently, they offered him to go into the Hall of Fame, but when he was like, "Well, would it just be me, or would it be the Hardy Boys?" and they're like, "Matt's of AEW, so just be you." And he's like, "Oh, fuck that."
Yeah.
I guess they also offered put him in rehab for 28 days or something like that.
Even though apparently it was all just a fucking work of him not wanting to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So he got what he wanted, and they tried to bring him back when they realized his drug test came back clean, and he was like, "Nah, I'm done. Thank you. Bye."
And he's like, "This isn't fun anymore because I don't get to do anything except for fucking be in the mid card."
Well, they were. It seemed like they were working a program that was going to put him with Roman, but then that all
he wanted to work with Roman.
All of a sudden.
He even said that was like one of the one guys that he really wanted to work with, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm curious how that would work, but.
Okay, so anyway, are you going with HFO or Sting, Darby, and Sammy?
I'm going with Sting!
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, they almost. I mean, that's probably good. Actually, I hope it doesn't really open the show, but it probably will.
No, I don't. I honestly don't think it will. I think it's going to be put somewhere in the middle. I think that. Honestly, I think this next match will probably open the show just to get the crowd hyped, and that is the Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston match. I mean, this match has been pretty well built over the past couple of weeks. They had a pretty good Speaking of good promos, they had a really good promo back and forth last week. Like Eddie just kind of acted like he didn't want to be there, just basically, and then Jericho doing the whole or calling him a sports entertainer, and Jericho basically, well, the sports entertainment has gotten ratings, stuff like that. So I mean, just
he's like, you're nothing more than a jobber.
Yeah, he's like, you never won the big one. I've basically said I've won more big matches than you've forgotten, and but then Kingston said, why don't you be the guy that your buddy Levesque hates or whatever. He mentioned Triple H, Eddie Kingston did, I forget what he said. Something along those lines, like
Yeah.
give me the Chris Jericho that your buddy Levesque always hated, or something like that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think
that.
the funniest thing is how everybody's been talking about how like Jericho got ab implants. Did you hear about that?
Dude, like, yeah, he's fucking ripped all of a sudden. I'm like, what the-
Yeah, and like
He just
which
leaned
is-
out a little bit, like, you know.
which is just comical. Like, I mean, honestly, like he has trimmed down, but like I think the reason why, like, you know, like promos and stuff, like he looks a little more ripped because you know he probably maybe just did a workout before, or, like, you know, if
he's
you
also
lay,
wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
yeah, and if you like lay off, like maybe, you know, eating for a little while, like you're gonna. And plus, like it just all depends. But like, I mean, the guy's obviously like trimmed down a little bit, but I'm just like, my God, between that and like Adam Cole, like what the fuck is up with like?
There's
Did you
so
see
much
Adam
body-
Cole
there's so
fucking
much
post that
body
mirror
shaming.
selfie.
Yeah, and Britt
Yeah.
Baker's like, what a bod.
Yeah. He's like, you're looking at your next AEW champion, and like no abs, but he's just like flexing his pecs real hard.
Yeah, and then Britt Baker replied like,
Yeah.
or retweeted, said, what a bod.
There's so much body shaming going around right now. Like male body shaming has been a thing in 2022. Like it's been it seems like it's at a height right now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, and not to get super off topic, I mean, not that it stops us.
That's all we've
there's
done
something
this show.
we
so
forgot
good.
to discuss. So Vince McMahon's opponent for WrestleMania is going to be Pat
and
McAfee.
yeah.
There's speculation of that because he's going to be on Pat McAfee's show, so I think they're going to build that towards a match.
I heard the latest. I heard that was a slated match was those two
Yeah.
Yeah.
as of their supposed, like. I mean, obviously
know.
things will.
Because McMahon doesn't do interviews, so like, what reason does he have to go on fucking Pat McAfee's show?
He's done
and he's definitely
interviews.
doesn't. He does not do a lot of interviews, like if any.
I mean,
He does stuff for like Undertaker's like little 8-part series and stuff
No,
like that,
he-
but he
he
doesn't
did-
do just like one-on-one interviews.
He did a Broken Skull session with Stone Cold a few years back.
That was a few
Yeah.
years ago. How many has he
Yeah.
done since?
Well, I mean, he doesn't do a
I'm
lot.
just saying
but
he
he'll
does
still
not
them
do
now and again.
interviews like
Yeah,
rarely ever.
I think what Mike's saying is like he doesn't
Yeah.
go on like radio shows and he
Yeah.
doesn't do a lot
Did you
of
see?
like.
Did you see Adam Cole offer to be
Yeah.
or say that he wanted to be back on the
for-
Pat McAfee show?
Yeah, he
Oh.
said beat his fucking ass or something like that.
Yeah.
But he basically said McAfee's a pussy, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, have me back on your
So-
show, Pat. I swear I'll be good, or something. Like
yeah.
that.
But I
Well,
also
then,
heard
like-
that like it's could lead into Pat McAfee versus like Austin Theory. Like
Oh, okay,
That would make more sense.
that would
yeah.
make a lot
Yeah.
more sense. Yeah,
I've heard the McMahon thing, but they said like it could be initially McMahon, but then it turns
Not gonna
into
lie, I'd watch that match.
yeah.
yeah. But that's the
McAfee
thing.
fucking killed it with Adam Cole and in War Games and shit. So like,
As long as they promote the matches McAfee versus Theory, because what I can see happening is that they're going to promote it as McMahon and McAfee for ratings or weeks, whatever, and then all of a sudden, like at Mania, like, oh, I'm not wrestling, it's Austin Theory.
Yeah, I'll
or
switch
hell,
over.
I'd be fine with it being a fucking handicap match.
Yeah.
McMahon
Yeah.
and Austin Theory versus him.
And,
or a tag match if McAfee could get a partner, but
Yeah, him and Adam Cole, or no, not him and
Boog-
Adam Cole. Him
Boog-
and Michael Cole versus
yeah,
Austin Theory and
I was going to say like Rick Boog
because Boogs is
or
really doing
Nakamura.
much. Yeah,
Nakamura.
yeah.
oh my god, yeah, he comes out rocking with Nakamura to the music.
Yeah,
That would actually make
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I could get like
Um,
if they came out to the entrance together, like I could get down with that.
Could you imagine fucking McMahon taking a Jinkasa? Oh my god.
Shinsuke knock him out, and he'll be on the first plane back to Japan the next day.
Yeah, he gets deported. Somehow he's deported. He somehow no longer be a legal U.S. citizen.
Yeah,
Another thing that doesn't make sense to me about this whole thing, though, is like McMahon like does not have the energy that the Pat McAfee show usually has.
yeah.
Like watching those interviews and stuff, like it's very high energy, like
He's
throwing out.
He stands
And
up the
McMahon
whole
is not
time.
that
It's
at all.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe like 20 years ago when McMahon would go out and party with the boys at the bar, but not fucking 70-year-old fucking crypt keeper McMahon.
Yeah,
It'll be
I
interesting
just can't
to
mean.
see how that shakes out. What were you saying?
Anyway, yeah, back to your regular scheduled programming.
I don't even know where we were. Oh, we were still
were,
talking about AEW. Oh yeah, Jericho and
Yeah.
Kingston. So yeah, that
Yeah.
match, the build up for that has been long. Started with the whole rivalry. They kind of like were working together against 2.0, and then it kind of filtered into Ortiz and Santana taking issue with Jericho talking shit about Kingston. Then kind of led to the Inner Circle beef, and then here we are with this match. So I'm looking forward to it.
Real quick, I'm still here. I just have to. I hear my dogs whining, so I'm still on with you guys.
Okay, sounds good. But the other thing that was kind of notable from that promo was Jericho mentioning when Kingston came in and had a match against what's his name. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah, Cody. Yeah.
That was interesting too. The fuck was that noise? All right, so let's get the predictions on that real quick. I'm going Eddie Kingston because I don't think Jericho needs to win.
Jericho doesn't need the win. I mean, unless this is their big show, so yeah, he's going to go over. 'Cause there's no reason to long term this match.
What about you, Kev?
I'm going with Le Champion.
All right, Jericho. I like how Eddie Kingston was like, I don't want the Jericho that's doing mimosa matches with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I could see him like maybe not coming out as like Painmaker, but I could see him like some kind of like Y2J version or something.
That'd be dope. He comes out to fucking break the walls down.
Yeah, or something like
Pretty sure that's
covered by Fozzy. No, he could do a cover by Fozzy.
Yeah, or he can do like come out in like the light up jacket or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Cut his hair spiky.
Cuts all his hair off, and so he cut his hair off, or just cuts the front so he just has like the spike with a mullet.
Yeah, and I think we will have I
think Seth Rollins doing the Shield entrance has us a little bit is just setting our expectations too high for some of this.
In our defense, I did call that shit.
You did.
I fucking booked the shit out of that.
And I think there's going to be a spot in this match where Jericho does the Judas effect and Kingston does the backhand slap like at the same time, and they
knock each other out.
I could see that happening. Them knocking each other out and that being finished too.
All right.
Yeah, it is AEW. They love their false finishes, so maybe I should fucking go draw.
You want to change yours to a draw?
Yeah, I'm changing mine to a draw.
All right, Mike.
I'm gonna still go. I'm gonna still go Jericho because if it does open the show, that would suck to open with a draw.
All right.
I don't think that's gonna open the show.
All right, so then we got the basically the match I think everybody's looking forward to, and that's going to be Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
The fuck was that?
And I think that's going to be the opener.
That one's going to steal the show for sure, wherever it is on the card. Basically, until I like the promo leading up to this one too, because Bryan was like, you're going to be the one bleeding. We're not going to bleed together. You're going to bleed. But
he's like, my chest will look like fucking ground beef, but I will not bleed.
Yeah. But, if this one doesn't put Bryan out of wrestling for concussions, it's going to be one hell of a match. And it's going to lead to probably these two being a part of a stable and a team together. So I'm looking forward to see how that works out too. It's hard to call this one, though. You would think that it's going to be Bryan, but, I don't know, man. This might be a good one for it to be a draw, though, too. In some way, shape, or form.
I think Mox is going to go.
I don't think it's a draw solely because I feel like when they do the draw, it's to make it so they can continue it and have another match, not so much to be like, we're equals.
Yeah. I don't know what you think.
I'm going Moxley.
You're going Moxley?
I'm going Bridie.
Okay.
Bridie?
Yeah, Bridie.
Okay. I'm going to agree with Kevin. I'm going to go Mox. All right, we're going to skip this
got no
one.
skin in the game, so okay.
All right, how about the TBS Championship match? Jade Cargill is going to defend against Tay Conti. They've had a little bit of a build-up for this one. Conti came out recently and basically made herself the challenger, but honestly, man, Jade Cargill is going to win, right?
Yeah, they're way too high on her.
Well, plus the thing is, too, like, when Tay Conti came out and they all got in her face and everything, but, like, as soon as Jade Cargill, like, kissed her on the forehead, that was such a you're just you're nothing. So
right, but that could lead to I don't know. I don't think she's gonna win. Never mind. I was gonna try to bring up a way to justify the Tay Conti possibly winning the match, but now I can't even do that. So we're just gonna go with Jade Cargill.
Real quick, Chip. Speaking of women's champion matches, didn't Ruby Riott win a number one contender spot for the women's championship like 4 or 5 months ago when she debuted?
She had the match already.
She did? Okay, I must have missed it because I'm still thinking, I'm like, man, they're just like, we're putting everybody in front of her in line for this match.
Yeah, she lost. What was it? Probably within a couple weeks or so?
Yeah. It literally was.
It must have been on a random Dynamite then.
Yep, it was a Dynamite match, and she did end up losing it.
Was it the Winter is Coming or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
That makes sense then,
Yeah. Yep, she had it. All right. Casino Battle Royale tag team winner. Did the Casino Royale the Casino Royale tag team winner, that happened on Dynamite this past week, right?
Yes, because it wasn't a triple threat. Bucks, Red Dragon, and
that's right.
Someone else.
Yeah, the Bucks won it, So it's
no.
Did they? Because I thought
Red Dragon won it. I think did they?
No, I thought the third team won because they were in the ring fucking arguing after, and there was this whole thing where
Dynamite.
I think Red Dragon won.
Yeah, but it says that it's going to be a triple threat match for the tag team titles, and it's going to be Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon versus the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale winner. So maybe it's So let me pull up.
Maybe it is the Bucks then. I don't know.
I thought, or was it FTR?
Ah, man, I don't remember. I watched Dynamite, but it was like so long ago now. Dynamite results. Let's pull up Dynamite results real quick from 6 days ago. So that would have been that. All right. So Tag Team Battle Royal was the first thing on the card. And yeah, Red Dragon won it. So this card thing makes no fucking sense. So yeah, it looks like it's gonna be Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon. So yeah. So what are we thinking for that one?
I'm thinking Red Dragon, so I think it's gonna be
because there's gonna be more that it's gonna spiral into something with the Young Bucks then.
I kind of honestly I think that the Young Bucks are gonna cost them, so I'm going Jurassic.
Yeah, I mean I can see that, but
you're going Red Dragon. You guys are both going Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I could see that happen though too. What you said.
All right.
I just don't. I mean, I don't know. Like, Jurassic Express is good and everything, but I don't know. I just think that they're being tag team champions is kind of like a. I think it's going to be a short, Then
again, I mean, if they lose the titles, then Brian's whole fucking promo about there's a fucking dinosaur as champion for the tag team champions. This is a fucking shit show. It no longer makes sense.
True. Yeah. True. Yeah, it's some of these matches are kind of hard to call, but my thing is though they really haven't had. I guess the tag team championships is the one that has changed a little bit more frequently, but most of their titles have not changed hardly at all within the first couple of months of a reign. Everybody's had pretty.
Well, it's because they also don't have pay-per-views more. They have 4 pay-per-views a year.
True.
So
yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, the tag team championship seems to be the one that does change more often. But I don't know. I just feel like the Bucks are going to cost Red Dragon somehow, and that's going to lead more to a different story with them. I just
can't see them costing them directly because it seems like it's more like their feud is more kind of on the down low because they're fighting for Daddy Cole's attention.
Yeah. But I can see Jason's point because honestly, Red Dragon versus Young Bucks, doesn't really need the tag titles. You know what I mean? Like they don't need the tag titles.
But they already made it about the tag titles because they literally did a whole thing where they were like, "Oh, you guys want to be tag champions? We want to be tag champions." Like they already kind of made it about that.
But to Kevin's point, though, they could have a match leading to the winner of that match gets another title shot, but that match itself doesn't have to be for a title to draw.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going. I thought that's what I assumed they were going to do, and then they suddenly were like, "Oh yeah, one of these teams is going to be number one contender." It's like,
Yeah. I can almost see. I personally rather them like just bring FTR back into the tag title picture and take if anybody's gonna take the belts off them, be FTR, get them back.
Yeah,
I think that needs to be held off because I want to see Pinnacle get to the point where they're holding all the titles.
Yeah,
You have MJF as champion, then either like maybe Wardlow as TNT champion, and then them as
tag champs.
yeah.
I don't think Wardlow's
Sean's-
going to be in Pinnacle for that much longer.
I know, but that's why I think that would make it even better then because, or better yet, you can make it so Sean Spears becomes TNT and then he is the only one without a belt and then he gets treated even lesser, which then leads to his heel turn or his face turn.
Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say have Sean Spears win the TBS championship,
Oh my god.
All right,
but
so,
but I do like that theory. Mike just said though, everybody has a title except for Wardlow.
Yeah, that'd be a great like straw that broke the very large camel's back.
Yeah, I mean, if they can keep him in that group for that long, then I can.
Because then he would break off and go after the world title.
Right.
Yeah, it could be him versus MJF for the world title.
All right, and then we're gonna have the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which features Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, Orange Cassidy, and then it says TBA. So apparently there's gonna be one more added at
Real quick, did you guys see the picture of? It was Ricky. It said this is Ricky Starks in the ladder match, and it was a picture of Rey Mysterio with Great Khali, Big Show, Undertaker, Kane.
Yeah, that's pretty much about accurate. So it looks like there's going to be at least one more person in the match. I'm kind of curious of who that's going to be.
Sorry,
Did you murder a cat?
No, my door.
Sounded like somebody was creeping up on him to murder him, didn't it? Like,
No, I opened the door. I heard silence. I was like, "Oh shit, that got picked up big time."
yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
So
Sorry, I ruined our perfect broadcast.
Birds chirping, fucking murder doors, like.
So I tried to look back and see if I could find, what the match is going to be.
Because I don't know what I don't understand it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure who else could be. The only thing, and I brought this up to Kevin before we started, is looking at the poster for Revolution. Hook is pictured in the poster, but Hook isn't a part of the show right now.
Is right now potentially going to face QT Marshall.
Okay. Because
QT came out on Rampage and talked shit, saying that he taught Hook more than Taz did, and he's going to stretch his boy out in the ring. And then Hook came out and beat up a bunch of security guards. So I think that's going to be.
All right. So
added.
you think they're going to add that match to the card before the show airs? All right.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. We'll
Either
add
that, or maybe it'll get put on the pre-show or something.
All right. So we're going to put Hook versus QT. Who wins?
Really?
Why even ask?
I'll just put Hook across the board. That'll be a one bonus for all of us if it happens. All right. So out of the people that are announced now, with Orange Cassidy being a part of the match now, do you think it's going to be one of these guys, or do you think it's the person that isn't named yet?
I think it's going to be Keith Lee.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Keith Lee.
Yeah, me too.
Which also, did you guys hear the fucking reports from Wade Keller? So supposedly one of Keith Lee's friends reached out to him because he's concerned about Keith Lee's health, saying that he feels that he is risking both his life and other people's working in AEW because after the whole COVID thing gave him like a bunch of complications. If he can't work out and get in better shape, that he shouldn't have returned until he was able to, or he shouldn't wrestle at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like, are we fat shaming Keith Lee now too? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like he's dropped a little bit.
Yeah, maybe
Like
a
he
little
seems
bit.
a little better. Maybe
Yeah.
it's internal health shit.
You know, I heard an interview with Mojo Rawley, and he actually caught COVID really bad
Mhm.
too. And
yeah, he was hospitalized too.
Yeah, and he was saying that he had to like learn to sleep sitting up, and there was times that he would like fall. He had trouble sleeping because he was afraid if he fell asleep he wouldn't wake back up. And he even said that he still, you know, if he works out too hard, sometimes still has trouble breathing to this day. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it seems like you know, if Keith Lee's going through anything similar to that, then he may not be in a good. You know, I get concerned, especially with people like that, because of the heart implications. Like, especially a guy his size, like moving around.
What
in the
was
ring
that? Was
like
what
that.
Keith Lee's whole thing was it was heart problems?
Yeah, so I would be concerned of him just having a heart attack and keeling over. But hopefully, doctors have checked him out, and you know he's in good.
I mean,
place,
yeah, I have to
but-
assume he's been medically cleared. I mean, they've done some shoddy work with medical things in the past, but I have to assume at this point they've, you know, cleaned it up.
It's just with all the people that have died from broken heart syndrome, with like the stress on their bodies from COVID and just the stress of COVID in general, and you know that syndrome seems to be tied to COVID in some way, and that just kind of hits you out of nowhere. It's like all of a sudden your blood pressure just drops and you're you know on the ground. You know what I mean? So I just, you know, I guess I worry a little bit about something like that happening, because that would be awful. If, you know what I mean? Like, one, you don't want to see that happen to anybody. Two, you don't want to see AEW go through something like that. And three, like, all the people in the audience, like, that's something you don't want to see. That's like Owen Hart level. Like, well, not quite Owen Hart level.
And I mean, it's
yeah,
it's close, but it's not quite the same, because he wouldn't, you know.
or like what happened to Jerry Lawler when he was doing a broadcast a few years back. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, just, you know, it's scary, man. It really is. And you know, I hope that he is healthy enough to participate, and especially in a ladder match. You know, because you know that's not going to be a short match. Like it's
not going to be a short match. And it's not going to be a fucking easy match either.
And that's going to be the second match he's had in how many months? You know, and it's just, yeah. You know,
part of me almost feels like this is one of those things where it's like an overprotective friend who's just like, dude, you had, you know, these complications that you almost died. Do you really think you should be doing this so soon?
Yeah.
More so than like maybe anything serious. I just thought it was interesting that kind of popped up this week as a news story, and I was like, and the fact like Wade Keller's just like, oh yeah, his friend is telling me this, so it must be true, and I'm like,
yeah. Wade Keller's he's not quite Dave Meltzer level, but he's a little bit up there.
I was gonna. Who's Keith Lee's friend? Dave Meltzer.
All
friend's
right.
Bruce Pritchard.
So we got a couple more matches on the card. One is going to be for the AEW Women's Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is going to be going up against Thunder Rosa. And honestly, man, I really think...
I love the ethnic impersonation. Yeah.
I really think this is going to be... I wish I could roll my R's. If I could roll my R's, that would have been great. But... Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't either.
So I think this
I
is...
can draw an R and spin it around, make it look like it's rolling.
Speaking of long title reigns, I really feel like this is going to be the end of Britt Baker's. I think Thunder Rosa is going to win this.
I do too, just because I feel like it's been building up to this.
Yeah. Kev?
Yeah.
As much as I hate it.
Yeah. I think so, because I think it's going to eventually... they're going to eventually build Jade to be the champion.
Yeah.
And probably maybe hold both belts until she would have to probably relinquish the TBS title.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're going to have... If she's going to take the title, she's going to take it from Thunder Rosa. So
speaking of double titles, why the fuck is Sammy still carrying around the fake fucking TNT title?
I don't know. It's weird that he's carrying around both of them.
I almost brought that up earlier when you said for the TNT title. I almost said you mean titles?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't get it.
Literally only one TNT title, so it's not like he's a dual champion. It's just weird that
Well,
he's carrying both.
the funny thing is, they're actually, even though they look completely similar, they're actually from two different belt makers. I was reading about this. Like, one of them is actually doesn't have as many like diamonds, and it doesn't like the
Is it
gold.
cubic zirconium?
I told
Yeah,
you that was a different title belt, and you told me I was wrong. I just want to point that out.
What are you talking about?
A couple of weeks ago, I said that they look different. You're like, no, it's the same belt. No, I think they're a little bit different. No, they're the same belt. Like, we had this discussion.
What was he
a couple
like?
weeks
It's just
ago.
the shine of the lights or something like that.
Yeah. You said it was the way the light was shining on it. Yeah, we had this discussion on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I said they look like different belts, and you're like, no, it's just the way the light's shining on them. But now you're confirming that I was correct. I just want to point that out. That's all.
Well, I apologize if I said that. I don't remember saying that.
Wow, it happened. Somebody apologized on this podcast.
Right? That's impressive.
You piece of shit.
Like legit apologize, not like fakes apologize.
All right, sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. You can continue on.
No, go fuck yourself.
All right, we were talking about Sammy Guevara anyway. All right, so we're all thinking that Thunder Rosa is going to win, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then we got the AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page is defending against Adam Cole, baby. And honestly, I think Hangman's going to win, but I love the build up to this match. I even though I didn't really know much of their history going into it, I thought they've done a pretty good job of catching everybody up with their promo work. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's been a fun build so far.
I kind of knew that. I mean, a little bit of their history, like from Japan and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it should be fucking hell of a match. I mean, Hangman's had one of those kind of, a little underrated of a reign so far.
I think this will be his first like title defense against someone like other than D-Bry or Bridie where it matters.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, his last match fucking brutal as hell and impressive as hell, but like no one thought Brian Cage or whatever his name was gonna fucking
Lance Archer?
That's it. I can't keep up with him. The big beefy boy who no one gives a shit about.
Speaking of Brian Cage, maybe Brian Cage is going to be the mystery guy.
Yeah, it could be, since he supposedly signed, but then said that he didn't sign, but then said that he didn't tell anybody he signed, and so who would have known he signed? And yeah, I don't know.
Well, that was the rumor I heard about that if Cody still was working for AEW, that he's going to come out with Brian Cage and kind of have this like underappreciated faction or something.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, that was one of the rumors.
Oh my god, B team. It'll be him, Bo Dallas, and Brian Cage.
Oh my god.
I miss the B team.
We get the fucking the Rotunda brother that we didn't want.
I miss the B team. The B team was
Me too.
great.
It was fucking fantastic.
What is Curtis Axel doing these days? I'm curious.
He's still in the
think
Royal
he's-
Rumble somewhere.
Yeah. I don't think he's wrestling anymore. I think he just kind of
Went off to do something else.
Yeah, I think he's just sitting at home doing something else.
He was just never going to be his dad, and that's the disappointing thing. Is that it's just like he could have leaned into it and been, a Henning or been like Mr.
The
Perfect
$1 billion
Jr.
boy.
or something like that. Like he could have leaned into the gimmick, but he tried to be his own guy, and it just didn't work. I don't know if him leaning into the gimmick, the dad gimmick, would have worked either.
Oh, it
but,
wouldn't at all. Yeah, no.
But
Speaking of like funny, like very underachieving wrestlers, did you guys all like when this was talking about his partner? Did you see that a lot of people were tweeting that it was going to be Alex Riley?
no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Last I saw Alex Riley, he was working as an actor on Glow.
Wait, was he on Glow?
Yeah, he was on season 1 of Glow. He played a male wrestler, and I think he like banged the one blonde girl on the show or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was Alex Riley.
yeah, it was.
I remember we were watching the Rumble at one time, Jason. Remember and Alex Riley was coming out. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm winning the Rumble," and you guys just looked at each other like, "Nope,
Nope.
not happening."
No, you're not, sir. But good try. He kind of had like a little bit of a resurgence on NXT for a minute. He had kind of like a more like intense character, but it didn't last, and they got rid of him pretty quickly. So, but hey, so who's gonna win? Hangman Adam Page or Adam Cole? I picked
Hangman.
I picked Hangman. So Kev.
100% Hangman.
Yeah, I guess so.
You on page as
Hangman.
well. All right. Into the match that should be the main event, which to me kind of speaks a little bit to Hangman's championship.
Unfortunately.
So far, and why I think that maybe there's a small possibility Cole could win, but I don't think that match should be the main event. I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that CM Punk versus MJF should be the main event of this pay-per-view. It is the best story going in. It is the absolute, most talked about match that they're going to have, and this might be one of the biggest build-up matches that AEW has ever had. And in the promo that MJF cut, that was almost a babyface promo on Dynamite, was...
I don't know if you'd say almost. Like,
it
was.
definitely was. And then his mom tweeting like, "Oh my God, my son's not a piece of shit," was probably one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. His parents on Twitter, I need to start following them both because they tweet like shit from him all the time and talk about how much of a piece of shit their son is, and it is fucking hilarious. But yeah, dude, that and then Punk coming out with a confused look and was like,
"Is it real?
Is that real?" Like, and
you working me, bro?
Yeah.
But no music just comes out. Like, yeah, did that really happen?
Yeah.
He just nodded and left. So,
yeah.
But we need to get more in depth with this, more than just a prediction.
No, I agree with that, and that's why I brought it up last because I figured we were going to spend the majority of the time talking about it. So I just wanted to.
First of all, do you guys think that really all happened to him?
I think maybe a less dramatic version of it. I don't think necessarily that he had like fucking pockets of quarters thrown at him, but I think there probably was some fucking like anti-Semitic shit that probably happened to him as a kid growing up, and I imagine he probably did have ADHD and probably got picked on and bullied. I mean, think about it. Like, he was on Rosie O'Donnell and talked about how he was like an opera, he was a singer or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, 100% he probably got bullied. Especially, back then. It's not like it is now. So...
That kid's still get bullied now, too, though. So.
Yeah, but not nearly. Like, there's a lot more stuff that, like, people were more accepting of than they were, 20 years ago.
I think the bullying still happens pretty bad. I just think it comes out quicker now to where like
people are just more aware of it, and
it's more talked about now than it was back then. Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's face it. I guarantee all three of us have been bullied in some way in our life.
Oh, without doubt.
And like, but it was like
Jason still is every week he's on the show.
Right?
I mean, I've been bullied 6 times on this fucking show tonight. So, but I mean, I don't know. It was never, I guess, really talked about much, or we didn't. Really,
it wasn't talked about in the same light that it is now. Like, people would still talk about like people getting bullied and stuff, but no one gave a shit.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like fucking rub some dirt on it, kid, and get back out there. Versus now, it's like, yeah, that's fucked up. You shouldn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah, agreed. And it's yeah, I think there was a kernel of truth to everything that MJF said. Yeah, to your point, I think he did maybe exaggerate a little bit, but and just being kind of outcasted like that, even being a part of the football team, I can relate to that. You know what I mean? Like when you're, especially when you're like a sophomore and you got those juniors and seniors, you're not accepted. Mm-hmm. You have to. It's almost like a fraternity.
Not even just football.
Yeah, it's like a fraternity. You have to kind of earn your way, earn your respect. Earn your respect. At first, you're gonna be treated like shit. That's just how it is. And it shouldn't be like that, but that is how it is. Like, you're just not automatically accepted as a part of the team.
Oh, I mean that still happens. That's still. I mean, I hear about it from my kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. I mean. Yeah, I think there is definitely some truth to it.
Do you tell your kids, listen, Mayor Kane said suck it the fuck up and beat him up.
Yeah, right.
You left-wing pussy.
So So yeah, and just the reaction that Punk had, and you know the promo that Punk had the week before, and MJF kind of came out and was like he wanted to say something but he couldn't, and then walked away, and then you know you could tell it's something that he really put a lot of thought into, and came out and delivered it, and just but it almost puts a whole nother spin on the match because you know with Punk with his you know Be My Valentine promo. You really wanted like this bloodlust, like, yeah, I'm ready to see these guys tear each other apart. But then when MJF came out and said what he said, it almost kind of disarms you a little bit. Now you're like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? And maybe MJF is just, you know, trying to soften up Punk just to fuck him over, you know? And that's a very real
That's my
possibility.
problem is that I'm just like, I feel like a lot of it was probably true, but I also feel like MJF being MJF doesn't give a shit, and it's all just a fucking work to get Punk off his game.
Yeah. But do you guys feel like it's taken away from the match though a little bit now?
A little bit, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It kind of it's kind of pulled me away.
It's taken away from the stipulation, yes, but not from the
Yeah.
match. I think it takes the match next level. I just it makes me want MJF to win though, because I feel like it just makes more sense regardless, heel or face, all that bullshit, because one, his next step has to be going for the championship.
Yeah.
And two, it would not necessarily be like a babyface type victory, because he could still like come out the following week be like, oh, you stupid fucking marks believe that, including that stupid Mark CM Punk, that.
Well, let's not forget though, we also still have a Dynamite this week. Like, you know, as a go home to the pay-per-view, that a lot can change with whichever promo happens this week too. So that's going to be
if he comes out and fucking like
what if he
says it was all work, then this ruins it in my opinion.
Yeah, like what if he just comes out and like, what if he just doesn't talk this week? You know, like
I feel like this week's gonna be CM Punk's turn. He's gonna come out and be like, MJF said this, that, and the other, and he's gonna like try to like shrug it off, like, oh, he's just fucking working us or something like that. And
yeah, and then I can see that.
And a lot of people think like, what if this is going to end up being a double turn? Now, I don't necessarily see that happening because you got Punk or MJF as a part of Pinnacle, and Pinnacle's a heel faction, so I don't see that happening. Plus, you still got the storyline that has to play off with Wardlow. I think if they did like a double turn, it really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
I don't think it's gonna be a double turn. It might be like maybe a babyface moment if he wins, and this all just still is him like, I got my revenge on that fucking piece of shit who abandoned me 7 years ago when I needed him most, like Angle. But I think he'll then immediately come out and just be like, shit, man's not the best in the world. I am.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see, like I said, Punk just talking this week, maybe MJF not. They just go in the match and they just have the match, and then MJF wins, and like that's how they go with it. Like, and then we go from there. I don't know. There are a lot of places they could go with it. So,
yeah. I mean, that's definitely a good point. So, is that where your head's at then? MJF's winning the match.
I mean, I think he has to.
Yeah, he has to, because the only thing that would change my mind at this point is if he literally does come out on Wednesday and be like, "Oh, it was all fucking fake. You're a bunch of marks, like this, that, and the other," and then be like, "Okay, Punk's winning." But like, if after that promo, like he has to win.
Yeah, like if he comes back Wednesday and gets all of his heat like right back, and is back to being like a piece of shit within a week, then it's okay. We want Punk to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Punk just to be different, but you guys make a good point. I don't know. I still feel like something's gonna happen between now and when the match actually happens.
There is one thing they could do that would slide right under the radar enough to not ruin it, but still have it come out that it was all fake. Is they could have like a cameraman in the back just happen to catch MJF chatting with somebody and being like, "Oh yeah, man, they fucking ate that shit up. Punk fucking ate that shit up," and just like talking about it, and then like that be on the Titantron, and then Punk fucking cut a promo.
I love how you call it a Titantron.
It's the Titantron. I don't give a shit.
No, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I kind of feel like something like that might happen where, it does kind of come out where he backs out a little bit, because you still, I feel like in order for this match to be a dog collar match and really make sense, like you have to go into it hating one of the two. And after that, you're like, oh, I identify with MJF. I can't really hate him now. You know,
I'm like, yeah, I hate CM Punk right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you kind of like, oh, I want to not like CM Punk, but I still like, you know, you don't have that true, you don't have that true hatred to where you like really want to see them rip each other apart.
It justifies it because it makes you want to see MJF beat the shit out of Punk, but you don't want to see Punk get the shit beat out of him. Like you want to see that like redemption and like, you know, closure for MJF, even though you still want to see, you know, Punk not get the shit beat out of him kind of thing.
He just like MJF just brought up, it's like he was like everybody that was like when Punk left probably were like, oh my god, CM Punk left, you left me. Like, you know what I mean? Like
how I fucking felt.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I fucking went to see him in Cleveland or wherever it was, and he fucking the night he fucking walked out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's just doing with this, and it's just so, whether it's part of the storyline or not, if it's just their backstage, hey, let's get the people thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just such a good. That part of it's just such a good storyline to it. It's just that, oh my god, like he's just. You know, maybe this is all MJF's thing just to fuck with the fans. Like I did it just to bring up bad numbers for you guys. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like I just said I did, but I hope it caused misery and brought up old bad memories for everybody. You know what I mean? So,
oh man, the fucking part where he was like, I got like fucking quarters thrown at me at school and beat up, and then I went home and I'm like, no, that matters. I get to meet my hero tonight. It's Friday night. And then he's like, but then Punk was like, it's just another Friday to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely hit home. You know what I mean? Like it definitely hit home. So kudos to MJF too for being able
fucking
to pull
just
that off,
proving that he. And that right there just proves the point that we've like argued about for a long time about like him, people saying he's the, you know, best promo only for shock factor because, you know, he uses naughty words, but that shit fucking, that doesn't put him fucking at least top 3. That definitely elevates him.
Yeah.
Whoa, who was it? Jason Powell from ProWrestling.net. He's like, when he does his like reviews of segment by segment, the first thing he said was promo of the year. He's like, I know it's only February, but like that was like promo of the year.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be damn near impossible to top that.
Yeah. Without a doubt. All right. Well, that actually kind of concludes everything that I had planned for this week's show. Michael's yawning, so it's about time for him to go to bed. I'm sure Sleepy Kevin's ready for bed as well. So
Kevin's so sleepy. He's in bed right now. He turned off
he turned his camera off.
Yeah. I was ready for bed 2 hours ago.
Hey, hopefully, depending on what time you're listening to this, you might be ready for bed too. So hopefully, the sounds of our voices are lulling you to sleep. Yeah, touching yourself. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast. Michael, you got anything you want to talk about before you close it out?
Yeah, youtube.com/Modern Toy Fair. Go check out the Modern Toy Fair podcast, Toy Therapy, reviews, top 10 lists, all sorts of fun stuff. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. Twitch.tv/Modern Toy Fair for Wednesday and weekly purchases. tpublic.com, search Modern Toy Fair Gimmick Minute to find shirts for our logos, and then click the link to the store to get a bunch of other shit. And I really hope you're touching yourself right now.
I am. So thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the show. You can actually catch me. I'm going to be a guest on the Lotus Moon Productions podcast, which is
not anymore.
Coming up later on this week. So you can hear my voice on that show if you want to hear a little bit more from me. Check out Modern Toy Fair if you want to hear a little bit more from Michael. And this is all Kevin does. So just tune in each and every week to continue to hear his voice. So
he literally doesn't exist except for on Sundays.
You can find our show.
Sometimes Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays,
sometimes any day.
Sometimes every 2 weeks, sometimes every 3 weeks.
You can find
Sometimes we take a month or two break.
you can find our show when we post it on your favorite podcast app platform of choice, like Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. Make sure you leave a 5-star review on Apple, and make sure you comment on how you like the show. For Michael and Kevin, I am Jason, reminding you smarks out there to be a fan, but always live your gimmick. Goodbye, everybody.
And don't forget the way to poo it.
I was gonna say that too.
I still don't even know what it means.